The following is a transcript of a conversation between Matías De Stefano, referred to as me, and his higher self, referred to as I am. 23rd February 2021, Venus. Me. When I was a child, I spent a lot of time with my Aunt Olga, my grandfather's sister. She devoted much of her day to gardening, arranging the plants, arranging the flowers. And when I played outside, she explained to me about each of them, how I should treat them, water them, prune them so that they grow well. I spent hours with her, who told me stories of her childhood, her parents and siblings. Although everyone had been very mean to her, she loved them equally, and spoke of everyone with admiration. Her father had been horrendous to her until the moment of his death, but she did not hesitate to call him Daddy, and dared to let down a tear of longing when she spoke of him. Although much more of his mother, my great-grandmother, whom she admired a lot. She was the eldest sister of 5 siblings, and the other 4 had her as the maid of the house, to whom they gave orders. With extreme machismo, they never accepted any boyfriends, and they were chased away or threatened. It wasn't until she was very old that she found a life partner, a German gentleman named Otto, an inventor, whom I loved very much. He had joined 2 bicycles as if it were a 2-pedal car, so he could go for a walk with my aunt around the city, both pedaling. Everyone knew them. They were unique. When she was 50 years old, my aunt went to ask for her brother's permission to marry him, but they denied it. They forbade him to be with her and took him away from my aunt. Thus she got breast cancer for a lack of love. Sometimes I think she inspired me, that impossible search to find someone, that soulmate, to live that romance that both inspired me and that was always forbidden. Now that I say it, my heart beats stronger. My body confirms that my longing comes from her and the admiration I always had for her person. My grandmother told me a long time later that she had to push her and give her sexual advice because she was over 45 years old and still a virgin. And despite so much castration, she continued to love them and cry for everyone as if they were her children. I couldn't understand it back then, but when I grew up I could see how horrible everyone had behaved towards her. When night came and the stars appeared, she pointed me up, made me look at the sky for the first time. She showed me the names of the stars, showed me the shooting stars. She was the first person who pointed upwards, who showed me the wonder of the heavenly. She had an intense faith in the eternal, in existence and transcendence, and without any qualms, she never hesitated to tell me about death. She knew she would die of cancer, and every now and then she would point to the sky, pointing to a particular star, and say, "Do you see that bright star? It's Lucero. We all go there when we die. That's my mom and dad, and when I die, I'll go there. So every time you see Lucero, you will know that I will be watching over you from the star." This thought was good for me. My aunt prepared me for death all childhood, although when she died I couldn't contain my anguish. She had given her whole life for love, hoping to be received equally from the other side. I am. At the Lucero, me. Yes. 3 nights later I had a dream. My aunt was in the garden at night. I went to see her. She hugged me from one side, bending down, and pointed me to the sky. She showed me Lucero and said, "Now I'm there, and I'll be taking care of you forever." Then, as I turned to her, she gave me a kiss on the forehead, and when I heard my grandmother calling me from the kitchen, when I turned to see her, she was gone. It was the last time I saw her, but I always felt her close. But I was left with the doubt, what was the place where she had gone? I wanted to know what Lucero was like, and I started researching, and I discovered something that puzzled me. Lucero was not a star, but a planet, Venus. I am. Venus is the Roman name of the goddess of love. It comes from the Indo-European ven, which means to desire, to love. The Greeks called her Aphrodite in the same sense. Life, beauty, love had arisen from the desire, passion, sensuality, and elegance of this divinity. This goddess emerged from the sea or the desert in the east, being the most radiant light of the sky after the moon. The idea that this light brought the waves makes tradition explain that Venus emerged from the shell of an oyster, a seashell, giving rise to life from the waters. For this reason, the ancient Phoenician peoples called it the divinity of water and light, Inanna Ishtar. The Persians called it Anahit, while the Mediterraneans knew it as Tanit. Venus gives rise to the word venerate, that is, to love intensely a god, someone, or something. Also as it gave rise to the name Friday, day dedicated to Venus, who in English is known by her Nordic name Freya, giving the name Friday. Your Aunt Olga did not choose a bad place to go, because all humanity in different cultures and for thousands of years knew this wandering star, this planet, with the name of love. Me. Yes, in a way her compass aimed well, to join that energy that she could not manifest in this world, that she could not experience. But when I read about Venus, I was still a little worried, for the planet, beyond being a loving paradise, is a hell. I am. Well, if we talk about the objective, yes, it is. The reason why the planet shines as brightly as the Lucifer that it is due to the amount of toxic gases that envelop its atmosphere. A deadly atmosphere composed mostly of carbon dioxide in the wake of the planet's constant volcanic activity that, in turn, due to its hellish winds, it stirs the gases by filling them with clouds composed of sulfuric acid and sulfur dioxide. All the light that enters the sun cannot leave the planet, creating the worst greenhouse effect you can imagine, generating the average temperature of this world at about 464 degrees Celsius. Considering that the average temperature of Earth is 15 to 16 degrees, clearly Venus is hell. Its rivers are of lava, and its soil burns more than any oven. Me. Wow, it's terrible. I am. Sunlight reflects off your carbon dioxide clouds, and that's what makes it look so beautiful and bright and elegant from Earth. Me. It's not a place to go on vacation, clearly. But you can understand why they call it Lucero. I am. This name, in addition to its divine name, was a constant epithet. The Greeks also call him Lucero, that is, he who carries the light, which in Greek is called Phosphoros, phosphorus. And the Romans called him the same, bearer of light, which Latin has a well-known name, Lucifer. Lucifer, the devil? Venus was called veneration for Lucifer? If only my aunt knew. I am. Well, let's explain. Lucifer comes from the etymology lux, lucis, light, and pharaoh, carry. This name was an epithet that described everyone who carried the light, and since this planet was the most luminous, it was known as such. In Semitic mythologies, Lucifer was the epithet of an archangel who was the bearer of the light of God. He was the most beloved of the divinity. But in history, he was the one who rebelled against God and decided to create his own universe. Thus, he became the opposite of his task, darkness. For this reason, the Semitic peoples, Hebrews and Arabs, called him Shaitan, which means adversary, enemy, giving rise to Satan. Venus was a kind of representation of this hermaphrodite being that carries the light around the sun, of God, and at the same time is usually treacherous, like human love. Me. In a way, the two stories come together, because the bearer of light is literally the hell that many imagine, a place with fire, lava, where you cannot breathe. It's Venus. I am. From a human point of view, Venus is an uncomfortable place to live, yes. However, its energy is what matters to us, as it is what truly affects us here. Love is a polar energy, something that guides us all northward. Love is the romantic or emotional way of calling the free and eternal energy, that which unites us all. And energy moves by polarity, positive and negative. In the magnetization of this energy, two opposites attract, generating a magnetic field of colors, which are the discharge of ions that protects the core from all external forces, turning it into a moving axis that aligns towards the positive polarity, which on a planet you call north, and in a human you call head. Love is recharged in the south and feeds the body to the north, thus being the emergence of kundalini, vital energy, and energetic flow, loving, if you will, that awakens the power that you call passion, desire, and that rises, losing its intensity to become connection, romanticism, falling in love, and disperses in the form of freedom and expansion. Love has, then, many stages of energetic expression, and is the source of life of all things. But for it to be a source of life, it is necessary to regulate passion, desire, because if it is not regulated, fire consumes the whole body, turning a world like Earth into a planet like Venus, consumed by its own inability to manage its inner fire. Me. It's a good allegory of what happens when, instead of using sexual force, passion for things for the sake of something coherent and expansive, we use it only to accumulate, retain, possess. I am. Venus regulates from the subconscious all your energy world related to your inner fire, to the power that drives you to mold life. The inner fire, the pure energy of love, is like an intense light that radiates in all directions, being able to turn you into the Lucifer. Me. That is to say that it is the passion and Venusian love fire that propitiates enlightenment, and not the spiritual cold of Uranus. I am. That's right. The passion is the key to enlightenment. But what makes a Lucifer become a Satan? Me. The misuse of light. I am. That you become an enemy of your own creation. Most humans live a constant duality in which they struggle against their own creations, their own life. Never being satisfied, they seek better things, more comfort, look better, disguise the physical body, decorate it, adorn it, fighting against deterioration, seeking to cling to life, complain about what they achieve in it. They want, therefore, to possess more than they need. Me. I admit it because it happens to me. It's one of those things we usually struggle with within ourselves. I am. Venus reminds you of the passions and lets you know that it is not wrong to use them, to feel them. That the pleasures of Taurus, Scorpios, and Librans are not a bad option to be able to illuminate, radiate, find a center. However, the exacerbated search for this in the outside world only projects necessity into the passions that you can only cover in yourself, in your mind. Instead of illuminating, the fire begins to burn. Instead of guiding, fire destroys. This is how Lucifer becomes Satan, when the same being betrays his own light in order to obtain benefits, venerating matter over the essence that gives rise to it. Do you know how to control that fire? Me. No. I am. Well, this is the task. The task for all passion will never be the prohibition of what produces pleasure, but routine in its use. Me. Routine? I am. That's right. Love is something eternal, and therefore you must manage its use so that its energy does not consume you. The pleasures of sex, food, sleep, relationships, ideas, projects have a goal that is to activate the main energies of your physical body. However, if you turn on the machinery at full power, you will end up burning the first gears, destroying the machine, the Merkaba. Routine brings order to this Venusian energy, allowing you to honor the passions and giving them their rightful place. Venus is more than the planet of love and beauty. It is the world that acclaims the balance of your heart, the balance of emotion, of the love that nourishes your being. Me. I understand. So, I'll take a calendar and sort out my week. I am. Not with big things, but with small things. With some food, some pleasure. Set some schedule, set small goals. Nothing big. Do not force the change. Just redirect the energy so that the fire becomes illumination. Me. Love is the torch that guides my life. I am. So don't make it turn off. Me. I will live then for myself that which my aunt longed for in her life, and in my experience I will expand it so that I can live it with me. I am. For love is one, and it runs through all things. Everything is love. Me. I am love.